Hey there, and welcome into University of Hoops, the show that takes you behind the scenes of your favorite basketball team. This episode is sponsored by Hudl. Are you ready to elevate your basketball game to the next level? Look no further than the Hudl Pro Suite, the ultimate resource for basketball coaches and athletes. From game footage breakdowns to scouting opponents, Hudl Pro Suite is your premier resource for dominating the court. And now introducing our latest innovation, Hudl Instat for basketball. Elevate your understanding of the game with unparalleled data and visuals. Visit huddle.com/University of Hoops to learn more. That's huddle.com/University of Hoops. Today, we are very excited to welcome in Seattle University assistant coach Steve Shpreyregin. Coach, welcome into the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. I wish I had as cool of a backdrop as you do with the Kobe Bryant championship picture behind you.
You know what, Coach? I appreciate that, but I see the Seattle in the back, and that's pretty sweet. Everybody, obviously, who knows ball knows how awesome of a basketball city and a basketball mecca Seattle and that part of Washington is. So really excited to talk to somebody who's from that area. Want to get started and just talk about the fact that you've been at Seattle for a little while now, heading into your sixth year, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Um, and I'm sure, that time has probably gone by quick. But I would imagine your role has changed a few different times since you first got to that school. So what are your kind of, bringing it to where you are today, Coach, what are your responsibilities like on an assistant coach on this staff?
Yeah, so I've definitely put on a few different hats during my time at Seattle University. My current roles, since I've been an assistant, it's a lot of our jobs these days are recruiting. So doing a lot of recruiting, whether that's watching film in the office, making phone calls, going out on the road, and watching different teams, watching tournaments, watching international stuff. So a lot of recruitment, and then player development. I hang my hat on player development, something I'm super passionate about. So being in the gym with the guys, finding different ways for them to improve in the off season, keeping them sharp during the season, and then a bunch of small different logistical things, to make sure everything's running smooth. And then I do a little bit with the offense and a little bit with the defense also. Our staff is super connected, super close. So, we're meeting a ton about those different things. And, I always, want to grow and become a better offensive mind, a better defensive mind, whether that's, watching film or learning from our coaches and, learning from our film as a staff.
Coach, we've had a few college coaches on. We had a head coach on our last episode, and we talked a lot about the transfer portal with each of them. But with you, especially because of your player development background, rather than ask you about the transfer portal and how that impacts what you guys do, because obviously it's impacting every every school now. I want to touch on what happens after the transfer portal. Can you give us some insight for people that don't know what it's like? What does summer workouts look like? Right
Yeah.
now where you're before the school year and the season. Just take us behind the scenes of what that's like in the summer when you're once you get those new guys in or transfers, recruits, what that summer workout process looks like.
Definitely. That's honestly the most fun part of the whole thing. Obviously you're recruiting and getting to know guys and going through that process and finding new guys to join your team. But the player development part when they get on campus is a ton of fun. So you get a certain amount of time in the summer. Everybody gets 8 weeks. You get, 8 hours through that week. So just kind of figuring out what everybody needs to work on and trying to find ways to get guys better in the summer. And they're doing, strength and conditioning stuff. They're on the court for a certain amount of time. They're watching film. They're, hopefully a lot of guys are, getting in the gym by themselves as well. I know we have a lot of guys that love basketball, but, a lot of the summer is, getting the guys together and starting to, build that chemistry and camaraderie and, not trying to, I think a big thing is not trying to overdo it. You don't get a ton of time to work with the guys in the summer. So not overdoing it and, trying to throw a bunch of things at them. Like a lot of them are, coming in new programs and, some guys that are coming from high school to college, that's a big transition. But even guys that are transferring in, like, they're coming into a new culture, they're coming into new teammates, new coaches. So trying to find ways to get them a little bit better while they're here for us for the summer, while they're adjusting. And that's, a lot of fun, looking at their stats and their film from the year prior and, finding ways to incorporate them in your system and how they can be the best when they get into that system. So, shooting's a big thing that we value, and a lot of stuff that we try to get done in the summer is get a lot of shots up and, get the guys to understand what it feels like to, really put in work in the gym and how many shots you got to get up and how consistent you have to be with that.
Coach, with a decent amount of underclassmen on this year's roster, given that you have experience at the JUCO level and you were a walk-on at the D1 level, what are you looking forward to most during this upcoming season with the roster that you guys have?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how well we grow. Like we have high school guys, we have some returners, we have some transfers, we have some JUCO transfers, and just, really making sure we mesh and seeing how everybody meshes together. And, obviously there's going to be bumps in the road, but that's what makes it so fun. Like if it was easy, it wouldn't be as fun. So just, going through the bumps in the road, every single team has its own challenge. Every single year has its different challenges. So, just overcoming those challenges and, growing also as a coach through those challenges, but also, finding different ways to, bring the best out of every single player and then bring the best out of the team as a whole.
Coach, now that we've talked more about where you are today, want to get into a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are. So take us back to the beginning with how you got into basketball. Take us through your playing days all the way up to Seattle U.
Definitely. So sports was always kind of my family. My dad was a big time ping pong player back in the day in the Soviet Union. He was big time out there, has, tons of medals, tons of trophies, just all that good stuff. And they immigrated here over 30 years ago. And growing up, I just loved basketball. Like my dad was a huge fan of basketball. My brother was a fan. My mom was too. So just loved basketball, loved being in the gym, loved working. Back in kind of how I grew up playing basketball. So my whole life I played other sports, but I didn't love anything as much as I loved playing basketball. When I was 12 years old, I started coaching a little recreational team in a community center by my house, and kind of got that passion for coaching from my dad. He was an athlete in the old Soviet Union in Belarus, and then he was also a big time coach over there too. So he still coaches to this day. Gives ping pong lessons, and just kind of got my passion for coaching through him. But so I just always loved basketball. It was, from a kid, I was always motivated. I always, went to bed early, woke up early, worked out a ton, try to overwork or outwork everybody that I could, and got me an opportunity to play high level college basketball and be with the big time staff. And there was, a lot of bumps in the road. Like I wasn't heavily recruited out of high school. I didn't play for a big time AAU program, and I went the junior college route. I played behind some really talented guys in my first year at junior college and had a solid year my second year, and ended up becoming a walk-on at Washington State. Earned a scholarship my senior year, and a big reason Washington State was so intriguing is to play under Ernie Kent, who was, in the College Basketball Hall of Fame, somebody that I knew I could learn a lot from, wanting to get into coaching and understanding that I wasn't going to make a big time living being a college or a professional basketball player. And coaching was kind of the next best thing for me to do. And being able to learn from Ernie Kent and, his staff was huge part of my 2 years at Washington State.
Got it. And then once you were done playing, how'd you get into coaching, and what was that path like to get to Seattle?
Yeah, so I started coaching at a high school. Or a little bit before that, Robert Franks, who was one of my teammates, he declared for the NBA draft. I went down to Florida and worked with Robert Franks and David Thorpe, who's big time in the basketball world. He's been doing pre-drafts for years, and kind of assisted him through Robert Franks's pre-draft. And that's when I started working out everybody, training overseas guys, training younger kids, training college players, and training as many people as I can, and trying to help them get better. And while I was doing that, during that year after that, pre-draft process, I coached at Bellevue High School, which is one of the premier high schools in the state. For talent. They've, produced a lot of Division I players. Following that year, I got a GA at Seattle University and was a GA there for 2 years, and that's kind of where everything took off. I got my foot in the door of the college of basketball world, and at Seattle University, and kind of everything took off from there. And 6 years later, we're here and now.
Coach, you mentioned some of your stops along the way there. I'm interested, who have some of your greatest mentors been along the way in that process, and what's some of the best advice that they've given you along the way that you can share?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had, amazing mentors throughout my life. Like, obviously my family, it's just, my dad, my brother, my mom, like, even though they were like family, they just always instilled a big time work ethic with me, and that you just have to outwork people. You just have to, put in the time. You can't shortcut anything. I think that's really important, especially in coaching. Like, you can't take any shortcuts. You gotta, take the stairs at, every single opportunity, and just put in the work. And then, I had mentors growing up. Stacy Scott was one, who was my trainer and AAU coach. And, he just put in work. He just made me put in work and made me understand like how important fundamentals were. Like, our workouts are so fundamental. Everything we did was so fundamental. And he just helped me understand that. And then, you know, going through my junior college, Tyler Amaya was my assistant coach. He gave me the opportunity, somebody I, still stay in touch with to this day. He's been a, amazing mentor for me. Sam Fine, who I coached with at Bellevue High School, probably one of the, best basketball minds I've ever been around, and still talk basketball with him to this day. And then, my staff at Washington State, all the way from head coach Ernie Kent, my assistants, Curtis Allen, Ed Haskins, just, Sylvie Dominguez, Greg Graham, like all those guys were big time. And then, being at Seattle University now with our head coach Chris Victor, Alex Pribble has been big time. He's at the University of Idaho now, and then some of our current coaches and Grant Leap and some of the other ones. So I've had so many guys that have helped me grow as a coach, and all of them have preached hard work, doing things the right way, showing up every single day, even when you don't feel good, and just no task is too small. Do everything. And that's what I learned from being a GA as well. Just, doing the little stuff too, because those add up, and you can't, always do big time things all the time. So doing the little things that everybody doesn't want to do is huge.
What's your best piece of advice, coach? And you just mentioned doing the little things, but for somebody that wants to get into, you know, coaching or scouting or player development or anything of the sort, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say being a good person, at first and foremost is super important. Just, being a genuine dude, being trustworthy, being loyal. I think that is really important. Just showing up, every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what has went on, no matter what somebody else has done for you, just being a good person. And then I would say work harder than everybody and work more than everyone. Like, literally put in work and, dedicate yourself, to your craft. Watch more film, be there early, stay late. Just, find ways, and like every program, every person, every job, every role, there's ways to work harder than everybody, and, put in a ton of work. So just working harder, being more prepared, um, than everybody, and just being super prepared is huge. It'll take you a far way. And, I'm a testament of it in every situation I've, kept my head down. I've worked hard. I've, nothing's been handed to me, and it's paid off. So being able to work hard and just battling through, the adversity. And, some days you might not see the light at the end of the tunnel. And some days, you might be like, damn, like, this is hard. Like, can I, are my dreams possible? Are they? But, they are, if you put in the work every single day and you're a good person.
Strong message, coach. In terms of your stops along the way, and it's really cool. Like myself, I moved around a lot, and I think and I don't, I work in media, like not in the basketball, like, skill side, like you're on, but definitely like with a lot of the people we've interviewed, we've have seen a lot of people that have moved around, you know what I mean, and have
Right.
had to like go to these different places to take jobs.
Definitely.
So for you to be able, I'm sure that like you know that obviously being in the profession, I'm sure that you probably have moments where you're like, damn, like this is pretty cool. What's that been like for you? I mean, being in Washington, like to get a walk-on opportunity at Washington State and then be where you are now at Seattle U, like tell me, what that's been like.
Yeah, it's been crazy. A lot of people joke around with me about, being the mayor of Seattle, and I won't want to leave Seattle. I don't want, but honestly, it's worked out this way, and I'm, blessed it has. I love Seattle. Like I just, love everything about it. I love the basketball history here. It's just we had a run, the other day here, and Paulo Banchero, Isaiah Thomas, Marjan Beauchamp, a ton of the local pros in Seattle were here, and just everybody showing love to everybody. And it's so cool. So, it's being going to Washington State. I grew up in being a UW fan and going to Washington State. I became a Coug, and now I'm a Coug. I always want Wazoo to beat UW. But and then it's just kind of the way it happened. I was able to get on at Seattle University, and I've loved my time here. I work with great people, and I haven't had to uh it's just the way it happened. A lot of people get different jobs in different areas, but I've just been fortunate to continue to move here and grow here. And I work for an amazing boss, and Coach Victor, who's allowed me to challenge myself and allow me to grow as a coach. And it's been an amazing few years here.
Coach, how does the Hudl Pro Suite help you guys out in what you do on a daily basis at Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, we use it constantly, especially during the season with film. We use it to break up film. We use it to, watch film, to show our players film. So we use it constantly. Can't imagine using anything else, but it's been big time for, our whole coaching staff, and making sure our players are ready to go, and can learn different things of what they're doing in practice and prepare for games.
And what about sports code specifically?
Yeah, I mean, sports code, I use it every day. I was actually on sports code a little bit before we got on, just, clipping some film of some actions that I found, and some player development stuff that I found from some of the international games. And sports code is amazing. It's so easy to use. It's simple. I've never had any issues with it. And, it's something that we use daily, our whole entire staff, and we're really pleased with it.
What's the best way you feel like to grow your network in the industry as you're moving up the ranks?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way is, obviously you want to meet as many people as you can, and it's really important. I mean, I've met people through, cold calling them, cold texting them, DMing them. I think a really great way is to try to meet people through, some context that you have. So I think that's how you can build really genuine relationships, and just finding some connections. Like, for example, like me being at Washington State, I try to, meet everybody that either played there or coached there, or, had any kind of association with Washington State, in different ways like that, to, try to connect the dots of, different relationships. Like, if I know you and I'm like, hey, I know you're close with this guy, it's just easier to connect the dots with those relationships. And I think it's really important when you're meeting people, when you're building relationships with them, not like building genuine relationships is important. So, building like 10-year relationships. So it's not like I just want something now and I'm never talking to you again. I think following up with guys is really important. Knowing when their birthdays are, asking them questions about their family, and just, building, becoming friends with them, not, making it all about business. And, being really genuine, and think of, if they can't help you now, they might not be able to help you in 2 years or 5 years, but you'll never know where somebody's going to be at. You'll never know if when somebody's going to get their break and become a head coach, and they'll want to help you in 15 years down the road. So I think building those relationships without, anything in mind, like that they're going to do you a favor or anything like that. And, just being around. I always tell people you want to put yourself in positions to get lucky. So if you're at an event, summer league, for example, be there all day. Never be afraid to hear no. Always, go come up and talk to somebody and pick their brain and get their phone number and stay connected with them. But putting yourself in position to get lucky is, important with those relationships, and being around those events, being around people.
Within the coaching side of the business, for anybody out there that is either really early in their coaching career or is thinking about wanting to go into it, what's something that you feel like they should know about it before deciding to really take it on?
Just it's a grind. Like you really gotta love it. If you don't love it, like I don't think you're gonna either have fun in it or be successful in it or take it long. Like I think it's really important that you gotta love helping people. You gotta love uh, finding out solutions when problems and issues come up, and you just gotta love the grind. Like you gotta love to work because you put in long hours when you're a coach, right? Like you're doing so many things that aren't shown and so many things you might not get rewarded for or hear thank you. Like you might, put in, hours and nobody will say anything to you about it. You just got to do it. So you just got to love the grind. You got to love to work every single day. Got to love to get up early, and all that. So if you love it, if it's something you're passionate about and you'll, do anything to be successful, you'll be just fine.
What's your why, coach, behind coaching and doing what you're doing and what keeps you going when you're going through tough times?
Yeah, I just love helping people. Like I love that's a big part of my purpose. Like I love seeing guys, achieve their dreams. I had a lot of mentors and a lot of coaches in my life growing up that helped me, and like it made me happy. Like it made me, confident. It made me improve. So a big thing is, just helping guys, and we're working with guys in an age where college, those 4 or 5 years of college, like those are really important for the rest of people's lives. So making my family proud is another thing too. Like my parents love coming to games, they love seeing me coach, they love watching our team play. And a big person is just helping people. Like I just I love helping people. I feel like my calling in life is to help people, try to get them to become as best as they can, and then share with them some of my experiences, things that I did when I was an athlete or when I saw my teammates do that didn't work or did work, and help them achieve their dreams, whether that's playing professional basketball, whether that's getting into coaching, whether that's something outside of life, but just giving them the tools to be ready to go when they graduate from college, from universities.
What's your favorite part about being a high level college basketball coach?
Honestly, my favorite part is seeing guys kind of put in work, just being in there and being behind the scenes with them, put in work, and then uh accomplishing some of their goals. Like, we had a kid who he was a walk on, and one of his goals was to get a scholarship. And he put in work day in, day out. We had a lot of meetings in my office, like things he could do to make it happen. And for his senior year, he earned a scholarship, and it wasn't one of those like we just get. Like he really earned it. Like he played as a walk on. He put in the work, and just kind of seeing that is, my favorite part. Just guys, things you do for guys just kind of pay off. And then, getting text messages from guys just, saying thank you. Like you helped me do this. You couldn't have done it without you. I think those are big time. Just, getting guys prepared and making sure, they're filling out kind of their goals and dreams.
You've already accomplished a lot in your coaching career, but what are your long-term aspirations and what do you sort of want to go on to do past this current stage of your coaching career?
Yeah. I mean, I sometimes think about it. I don't have, I love coaching basketball. I love being around athletes. I love, practicing, and I love getting better throughout the year. So, maybe if that's being a head coach one day, it's being a head coach. But, I just love being part of a team. I love, everything, literally everything that goes into it, from travel, from team meals, from practices, from meetings, from preparing for teams. So, as long as I'm in the game, as long as I'm, able to, help people grow and, help schools win games, I'll be happy. Whether that's a head coach, whether that's an assistant coach, anything like that in that regard.
Coach Steven Shpreyregin, appreciate your time, coach. Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to our viewers and listeners for tuning in to another episode of University of Hoops. the show that's taking you behind the scenes of your favorite basketball team, presented by Huddle. We will be back with another interview next week.